I did want to jump into this live training because another thing I realized about this group is that we have single men at different stages in their dating lives. And, you know, because single is a very broad term, and talking through so many of you here in the group, there's so many of you, for example, who are, you know, maybe single on purpose. You're right now not at the place where you want to date. Maybe you're healing from, you know, past traumas, a previous relationship, or you just got out of a previous relationship. So, you know, you're kind of like single on purpose in that way, and just focusing on yourself for the time being. We also have guys in here who are struggling to get dates right now, whether that's just due to the pandemic or just they're not implementing the right strategy, things like that. So many different reasons. There's guys going on multiple dates, but they're still going through that dating process. They haven't, you know, found the right person yet that they want to explore that kind of relationship further. And then we also have guys in the group who are single, but they've been maybe seeing someone, they've gone on a few dates with someone, and they're getting to that point where they're wondering if, you know, this is the right person, if they want to kind of take that next step towards commitment, you know, knowing if the woman they've been on a few dates with is really interested, or even a couple dates. And this live in particular, I wanted to focus on that group because I've been talking with a few men lately that have really requested that, you know, I focus a little bit more topics as well towards those who are going towards that relationship stage, who are further along that process in that way. And really knowing if this is the right woman for them, if they're, you know, what signs they should be looking for that shows she's really committed. She's, you know, ready for a relationship, that she's ready to take that next step towards commitment, right? Because at the end of the day, we, you know, you don't want to be wasting your time. You don't, you know, we only have so much time in our lives and our days and weeks and all that, that you don't want to waste your time spending it with the wrong woman, right? So you want to be looking out kind of for those signs that show she's kind of in that long haul with you. She's heading towards like a more serious and committed relationship with you. You know, kind of taking each other off the market, essentially, in that sense, going in that direction. So I got this. This was a topic that was requested for me to do by a few different guys that have been just kind of asking questions around surrounding around this topic. So I wanted to make sure that I was also including those group of guys as well in the trainings that I do, that I'm speaking to different topics that you can all take something out of, or that helps solve different problems that you all might be experiencing as you're going through different stages of the dating process itself. So, like I said, I really want to focus this training in particular on the signs that you need to be really looking for if you're seeing a woman, you've gone on a few dates, things like that, you're heading towards that more committed stage. What signs should you be looking for to see that she's serious, right? Because you should be seeing these types of signs to make sure that you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting months, years, still like just waiting for her to be more committed. You want her to be on the same level as you. So the first sign you want to be looking for is that she really takes the things you say to heart. So what does that mean? The things you say, the things you do, your schedule, things like that. Essentially what this means is that she is making you more over time a priority in her life. And she's investing more in you. Now, investing could mean different things. So it could mean, you know, she's investing more time with you. She's investing more of her energy. She's investing, you know, even financially too. That's something you can also look for as a sign that's showing more commitment on her end. And not only that on top, but that she also wants to get to know you on a deeper level. You know, when you, especially when you're just starting to go on dates with someone, I find it can be very surface level because it takes time to get to know someone. And it takes time to go deeper with someone, right? That emotional investment especially. And that's another way too. She's showing that investment is that deeper emotional investment there is that, you know, she wants to essentially have conversations with you. And you'll notice this difference that when the conversations start to get more serious, like I said, that surface level where, you know, at the beginning, you're talking about things like, what's your favorite food? What games do you like to play? Things like those kind of very surface level types of questions, because you're just starting to get to know someone. But the more time you spend with someone, the more you're getting invested. You want to have those deeper conversations. And she's going to want to have more conversations, and you'll notice the topics surrounding, you know, things like each other's future plans. So she could be asking questions maybe like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Or, I mean, just to even get deeper than that, she could even say, where do you see us, right, in the next 5 to 10 years? She's asking you about plans, like even short-term plans too, shows like that deeper level of intimacy and that deeper level of wanting to, you know, take to heart the things you're sharing with her and getting to know you even more so. So she's going to ask to know things like future goals that you have, you know, things like, are you wanting to go back to school in the future? You know, are you doing the job or career that, you know, you want to do right now? Or are you looking to, you know, is this just temporary or wanting to actually switch? You know, she wants to know what your future goals are, your future plans. What are your future dreams? What is something that you just want to do with your life? Do you want to be traveling more? Do you want to buy a house? Do you know, want a family? Things like that. So very deeper, more serious topics. She will also be asking you more about feelings and opinions. So for example, you know, if she has something going on in her life, if she's getting more invested in you and more involved with you in your relationship, your opinion matters to her. So she's going to be asking for your opinion more. She's going to be asking more about your feelings, thoughts, things like that. And your opinion has a large amount of weight to it in her life. So that's where it goes back to where I was saying she takes what you say to heart. She's really invested. She's really, you know, bringing that emotional investment to you and showcasing that she is more serious by talking about these things, asking these types of questions, because really by her asking these things to know your future dreams, to know your future plans, where do you see each other? What are your opinions on this? What are your feelings? Things like that. Very heavily weighted, you know, topics and things like that. It's because she's thinking about a future with you. And what your answers are to those type of questions is really going to weigh heavily into the decisions she makes and her thoughts about not only her future plans, but also, like I said, future plans of maybe you guys together as well. So that's a really important sign, is when you're seeing her get deeper, having more serious conversations. That equals more emotional investment towards you and the relationship, which in turn is showing more of a commitment on her end, that maybe she's looking for something, or particularly you and maybe this relationship, if it can, you know, go for the long haul in that way. Another sign too that you want to look out for is that a woman with who is getting deeper feelings for you, investing more, things like that, will tend to focus less on the type of date and how much money you're spending on her, and more so on the quality of time you spend together overall. So this is the thing, when starting to date, again, this is depending on the woman in a way, but some women out there will care a little bit more about the financial investment and the type of dates you're taking her on, because they tend to think in their minds, okay, impress me, win me over, things like that. That's what some of the women out there are thinking. But a woman who is genuinely starting to really care about you cares less about the type of dates you're going on. So like, for example, like she, over time, she won't care as much if you don't take her to a restaurant. Like, she will enjoy the fact that you can spend quality time together, even if it's just simply watching a movie together. Now, I do have to add a caveat to this, because I have to say this. Guys, it's very important that you do not use this as a reason to slack off, because this is a common mistake I do see with guys when they become more emotionally invested in a woman and start to go towards a relationship and almost have feelings of like, oh, I've got her. Now I've got her hooked. You know, I don't have to try as hard. And that is one of the most common mistakes I do hear at this stage. And it's a huge mistake to make, because you should always be trying, you know, always putting your best foot forward. Even if you feel like, yeah, I have her in the sense of like, she's clearly showing these signs, she's committed to me and things like that, you still want to be putting your best foot forward, because you should genuinely care about the, you know, woman you're seeing, about the woman you might be going in towards a more serious relationship, a more committed relationship. You should really care about her, and you should really care about the fact about wanting to treat her well. So I just want to preface this, because it's a super common mistake I do see a lot of men make once they've gotten to that stage, and especially once that commitment has been made, they do use that as an excuse. Well, okay, I can slack off. That being said, with all that being said, a woman who does care about you isn't going to fixate on the date itself and expect to be spoiled and lavished and things like that in a relationship. That's not going to be her priority. Her priority should be focusing on the quality time that you guys have together, the, you know, conversations you guys have together, the getting to know each other, the emotional investment, things like that. That quality time spent together, getting to know each other on a deeper level, showing that commitment, things like that, is that a woman at that stage won't focus so much on the type of date or how much money you're spending. If a woman at that stage is, however, you know, really very fixated on how much money you're spending, expecting, you know, to be spoiled all the time and things like that, that is something you want to view as a red flag. And that's a warning right there that maybe this isn't the woman that is a good choice for you. And you might want to question if you want to move to that commitment stage with her. So I just wanted to share all that with you guys. But another sign you want to look for when you're seeing a woman and going towards more of that commitment and trying to figure out if she's getting more emotionally invested and things like that. You know, I just spoke about quality time, and that in itself is also a sign where she is wanting to spend more time with you. So I also talked about prioritizing you, right? So when she is starting to get closer to you and develop feelings further, it's really just one of those things that even on your end too, when you're developing more of an emotional investment, when you're developing feelings more, you generally just naturally do tend to want to spend more time together. And that's completely normal. That's, you know, completely healthy to a certain extent. But, you know, it's normal that you would want to see each other more often. It's normal that you would want to talk more and things like that. And, you know, something that I've talked about before in the past, and I'm sure I will do a training on this as well down the line, but, you know, talking about the love languages. And one of the love languages is quality time. And like I said, I won't go into the whole explanation of love languages because I'm going to do a whole nother training on that. But for those of you who are familiar with love languages, you would know that quality time is one of those love languages. And quality time can actually be shown in ways even as well that, you know, can include things like maybe frequent or longer phone calls. You know, obviously with what we're going through right now, maybe video chats, meeting up more in person for in-person dates, having maybe weekly sleepovers, if that's something you're comfortable with doing, if that's something she's comfortable with doing. You know, that could be more often or even last longer, where you're spending more time together is a sign. And if she's wanting that as well on her end, it's showcasing that as a sign that she's getting more emotionally invested in you as well and wanting to spend more time with you. Another big sign too that she is heading down, you know, kind of that more serious path, showcasing she's, you know, ready for that more committed relationship is that, and she cares about you as well, is that she wants to do things for you that make you happy. This is the thing when it comes to dating. When we start off dating at the beginning, generally we have feelings of like looking for someone who's going to make us happy. You know, we really think of kind of more so ourselves a lot of times when we're at that beginning stages. But when we're getting more emotionally invested in someone, we tend to kind of almost switch that, do that 180 spin where we start thinking, instead of, you know, how is this person making me happy? How can I make this person happy? You know, and it's really good going into a relationship as well to have that mindset of, you know, how can I make this person happy? Obviously, of course, you also need to be happy in the relationship as well. But, you know, having more of a giving mindset is really helpful for, you know, thinking about going into a relationship and that long-lasting success as well. So when she is getting more emotionally invested in you, she wants to do things that make you happy. And it's simply just because she really genuinely cares about you. She wants to see you smile. So she can do something as simple as buying you maybe a small gift on the way home, maybe coming home from a work trip. She might buy you a small gift. Maybe picking up your favorite candy, chocolate bar, beer, you know, for you, if maybe you've had a really hard day, came home from work, really hard day at work, and she's picked up your favorite beer for you, right? Gives you a bottle of beer. And, you know, another thing too that she could do just because to make you smile, to make you feel cared about, to make you feel loved. She could surprise you one morning with a little love note on a post-it note posted on the bathroom mirror, you know? So it's just genuinely, she's wanting to do things to make you happy just simply because. Joe just said, candy. Yeah, I'm a big sweet tooth, so that's a big one. I was gonna say my partner actually knows that, and he always is surprising me with treats. I do the same thing for him too, but I always love when he surprises me with treats. So another sign too that showcases she's, you know, getting more emotionally invested is the fact that she loves to not only talk about you, but talk about you a lot to, you know, basically anyone that will listen. This is the thing about when you're starting to really develop, you know, feelings for someone, you're getting more towards that commitment stage. Things like essentially starting to fall in love. You know, if you've ever heard the expression of the whole, you know, shouting your love from the rooftops, right? It's a very relevant expression, and you guys can probably relate to this when you think back to, you know, when you were in a relationship and, you know, having those initial butterflies, or, you know, just really fresh in a new relationship and things were so great and happy and you were just feeling really good and almost feeling like you want to shout it from the rooftops. And that's how a woman really feels. So it goes back to, I don't know if I said this in my last live or the live before that, but I definitely bring it up from time to time that women really communicate using their words. You know, and I talk a lot about how men, you guys tend to communicate a bit more in actions and not so much words, but you really showcase what you really mean through your actions, versus women communicate through words. So this is why I talk a lot with you guys about using words, expressing your feelings, things like that, because that's how women communicate. So it's very closely tied to, like I said, women communicate a lot. So when they are really into you, very much getting more emotionally invested and committed, things like that, they are going to talk about you, and they are going to talk about you a lot. So she's going to be bringing up your name as much as possible, and she's going to become really excited and bubbly, not only when she gets to talk about you, but when talking about you even in conversation with others. So she's even going to find ways that she can basically incorporate you or incorporate your name even into the conversation. So she tries to bring you up in whatever conversation she's in, because she is just so falling so head over heels for you, basically. So, you know, ready to get more emotionally invested in you and take that relationship maybe to a whole nother level. And it's something that you guys should really, you know, when you see this coming up, when she talks about you a lot and gets very excited talking about you, things like that, or your name keeps coming up in conversations, or, you know, maybe you're hearing that from others too. That's another good sign that others are telling you that she's talking about you. Your name's coming up in conversations, that you really want to take this as a really big compliment, because that shows she really, really likes you. So another sign that she's getting more emotionally invested is that she claims you as hers. So hear me out on this one, because I know the title might freak you guys out a little bit, but so I want to preface this by saying, you know, a woman claiming you as hers. Now, she's not necessarily doing this because she's trying to take away any of your freedoms or, you know, individuality, things like that. You are still your own person. But essentially, the term claiming is done in a very subtle way. And, you know, something that I often hear is that men tend to be stereotyped as being very competitive and even territorial with the things or women that they want or have in their life. But the thing is, men aren't the only ones that can feel this way. You know, it often is referred to sometimes as jealousy. So jealousy is not necessarily a bad thing. It can definitely go to extreme levels. So that when it does go to extreme, that's definitely something that's a red flag. But a tiny bit of jealousy when you're in a relationship with someone or you're seeing someone, you know, is actually pretty healthy. It's pretty normal because even the most secure woman out there can feel a little bit territorial with her man or the man she's wanting to become her man. And, you know, like I said, that's totally normal when you are starting to become more invested and develop deeper feelings for her. So how does she go about claiming you? So how can you see this as a sign? So she'll do it, like I said, it'll be very subtle. So this is something where you guys, you know, like I said, you guys speak in action. So really be observant with her actions to kind of see this sign, because like I said, it's going to be very subtle. So it's going to be things like holding your hand, putting your arm around you, or kissing your cheek, especially when around other people. So it's almost kind of like showing you off, showing the two of you off together as a couple. And she will especially do this if another woman is around or other women are close to you. So, for example, I often hear, and this is what I'm hearing from women around me too, I hear these stories. I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely had moments like this as well, where, you know, I've been with someone, and if they were talking to, you know, a woman, you know, my boyfriend at the time was talking to another woman that I would maybe go over, especially if I didn't know the other woman. I would be wondering, oh, who's this woman? How does she know my boyfriend? You know, I would go over to her and I would maybe put my arm around my boyfriend, or, you know, slip my hand into his to hold his hand and things like that. It's very subtle. But this is completely normal. Like, this is nothing that you should take as like a red flag or anything like that. It's pretty normal, because I'm sure you guys have also been in situations where the roles were reversed, where maybe she was talking to another man and you were kind of eyeing and, you know, kind of like, who's this guy? Especially if you didn't know him, right? So like, it's pretty normal to have that like small kind of little hint of jealousy there. But that's a really good sign though. Again, within healthy levels, it's a really good sign if she's feeling that way, because that means she's getting more deeper feelings for you and is wanting something more from you and is feeling more committed towards you and wanting to move more towards that relationship with you in turn. So another big sign, this is something I kind of briefly spoke on, but a big sign that shows she's heading more towards commitment and is getting more emotionally invested is the fact that she speaks your love language. This is a huge one. Like I said, I'm going to do another live training with you guys down the line. I'm not sure, but I'll keep you guys posted when that happens. But I want to do a live training with you guys about the love languages because they are just so crucial and they are just really that key to long-lasting relationship success, is learning learning all about the love languages and learning each other's love languages, and then how you can go about speaking each other's love languages to each other, and actively doing it on a daily basis. So like I said, I'll go more into that in another live training down the line. We'll definitely do that because it's a whole nother training in itself. And I don't want to keep you guys here for hours on it. But, you know, the fact that she actively speaks your love language, you know, so this is something that's just so important because we all, like I said, if you know some background on the love languages, we all kind of have one love language in particular that tends to be primary. You know, we can all feel different types of love languages, but there's one in particular that does tend to, you know, be most primary for each of us. And it can be different for every person as well. So, you know, depending on what your love language is, the fact that she knows it and actively speaks to it, especially on a daily basis, that shows she's really cares about you. She's emotionally invested, things like that. And she's going out of her way to show that you are cared for and loved by her. So another sign you want to be looking for is the fact that she uses the terms we and us in conversations. So when people are single, and you guys probably, you know, do this in your own daily lives. When we are single, we often tend to use the term I because we look at ourselves as single. Now, when someone comes into your life, especially when they are making that impact, you've spent more time with them, you are getting more emotionally invested, your mindset does tend to change over time. And this is where the term I slowly starts to shift into the terms we and us. All right? Because especially when you're maybe describing your daily or, you know, weekend plans, as well as maybe future goals or future plans for down the road. So you'll see that kind of mindset shift there. And when a woman starts using the terms we and us in her conversations, then she is starting to essentially solidify your strong bond together and form it in a way as showcasing you guys as a couple, right? It's going more towards that serious commitment. We are heading towards that more serious commitment. We are heading towards that relationship. So it's a really big mind shift set in that way. And that's something you guys want to pay attention for. Again, those words, right? Where I talk about women, we talk with our words. That's how we communicate a lot. So the final sign I want to share with you guys, and this one is just really, really crucial. And this really, out of any of the signs I've shared with you, this one the most is the biggest sign, the most obvious sign. Again, you guys really want to pay attention to, because this one kind of hits it home that she is thinking about a future. And it's the fact that she openly talks about a future with you. That's the biggest sign. When she is talking about a future with you, and especially when she talks about her future and she's including you in it, So it's no longer, you know, I want to travel the world. It's, I want to travel the world with you. I want to go to these countries with you. It's no longer, I want to buy this house. Well, what houses do you like? I want to buy a house with you, you know, 5 years down the line. Things like that, where she's talking about the future with you. She's making future plans. And something, a sign of a high quality woman as well, is a woman that is a planner. That is a sign of a high quality woman. And that's where we're looking at someone who, you know, when talking about the future, has already planned out certain aspects of her future. So things like where she sees herself in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, things like that. But like I said, when she starts making plans for her future or incorporates you into her plans already, she is really showcasing you, she is really showing you through her actions that she is really starting to fall for you. She is wanting to go towards more of a commitment. She's seeing you for the long haul. She's seeing a future with you. And when we talk about future, you know, when I'm talking about future plans right now, a lot of people do assume, and I was also mentioning this as well, a lot of people assume, okay, 5 years, 10 years down the line. So that doesn't necessarily, like, it doesn't only have to be just 5 years down the line, 10 years. The fact that she could be making future plans with you a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, etc., into the future, whatever the case being, that there's some sort of time span, whether it's short or long term, the fact that she's making some sort of future plan with you, maybe it's a future date, maybe you guys are going to go see a concert in the future, especially now when, you know, the pandemic's over and all that. Making those kind of plans into the future, like I said, it could be a month, 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, whatever sort of plan she's making into the future. If she's talking about these things with you, then she's really getting emotionally invested in you. She's really starting to fall for you. She's really thinking about that commitment with you. And she's planning for the long haul towards that long-term relationship together with you. So I hope you guys took a lot of value out of what I shared today. I know a number of you guys, especially last week's training talking about the friend zone, have been messaging me how you guys actually were watching the live training and sitting there and taking handwritten notes. That made me so happy to hear, because I always get really excited when you guys get really pumped about the stuff I share on here, get really excited about you guys just finding so much value out of, you know, the topics I speak on. It makes me more excited to do these weekly live trainings with you guys, because you guys are taking so much value out of it. So I really want to thank you guys, to those that did actually share that with me. There's quite a number of you guys that actually shared that in messages with me, and that just makes me so happy to hear you guys take value out of this. Definitely feel free to leave comments too. Like, you know, I always encourage comments in the lives. If you feel like you took value out of this topic that we just did now, showcasing these kind of signs you want to look for. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you guys wasting your time with the wrong women. You know, the purpose of this group at the end of the day, I mean, obviously I want to help you guys become better daters, but, you know, majority of you guys are just really looking for that longer term relationship, are looking for that woman who's ready to commit to something more serious, you know, down the line and things like that, and really just attracting your dream woman into your life. really. And, you know, this is something that's just really an important topic. And, you know, like I said at the beginning of the live, it's something that's been requested by quite a few of you guys for me to talk about more topics heading more towards relationship kind of viewpoint, serious viewpoint, more towards committed than just necessarily the beginning stages of dating, but looking at all kinds of stages as a single man that you go through kind of in that dating cycle essentially. And you know, like I said, I'm so happy you guys always take value out of this. I always love the fact that you guys bring up and suggest topics too. You request topics that you want me to talk about. I always love hearing that because I do genuinely want to be giving you guys value. So I'm always open to requests. If there's something you would like me to talk about in the group, you want me to go live, you know, whether it's something that's, you know, one of these live trainings, or if it's something that's a little bit of a smaller topic, I always like to hop on a live every once in a while, just outside of the trainings, and, you know, just kind of give my little spiel to address certain smaller issues that you guys might be tackling, or just need some support on, or advice and things like that. So I hope you guys took a lot of value out of this. I just want to make sure I read all the comments. I didn't miss anything. All right. So Joe, oh, that's sweet. I'm assuming that was probably in reference to when I was talking about my partner and me, and the fact that he likes to buy me junk food and candy and things like that, just to make me happy, because I have a big sweet tooth. I'm going to assume that's what that comment was for. All right, perfect. Well, it really was great that you guys could come on this live. It looks like a number of you guys were on the live. Like I said, always feel free to share anything in the comments. Feel free to leave a comment as I'm going through these trainings. I love hearing from you guys. I love your feedback. Like I said, I'm getting lots of messages from you guys that you guys love the fact that, you know, a few weeks ago, I was just doing kind of trainings randomly whenever I kind of had a chance, but I'm getting lots of feedback from you guys that you guys are sharing that you really love the fact that I'm doing this, these live trainings on a weekly basis. You're taking so much value out of them. So I just want to thank you so much for sending those messages my way. It just really makes me happy to help you guys out there. I really genuinely want to see you guys be successful. Like I said, a lot of you are looking for a woman that's, you know, that high quality woman, wants to, you know, be ready for a relationship, wants to be more committed, wants that long-term relationship. Essentially, you're wanting to attract that dream woman. A lot of you guys in the group feel that way. And that's so awesome because it's totally possible. And, you know, it's a big, you know, part of what I do is helping you guys attract that dream woman. So if that's something, you know, I love doing these live trainings with you, but if that is something that, you know, you are looking to do, is really attract that dream woman into your life, these live trainings are great. But I also do work with single men in a more one-to-one private setting, because that's something that you get me on your own. And I get to give you, you know, personal, customized solutions to the exact problems you're facing day to day. That is going to be so much more helpful to you and kind of takes your dating to a whole nother level. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're really, you know, wanting to attract your dream woman into your life right now, feel free to send me a message. I really would love to chat with you. We can chat about that further and go into more detail that way. But anyways, I will let you guys go for the night, and thank you for the guys that joined me for this live. There's always a replay available following the live on the group. So for those guys who could not catch it live but are now going to be watching the replay, feel free to comment below. Just say hashtag replay or just write replay. That way I know you got the chance to check it out. I'm always dropping like really valuable information for you guys for free. You know, I share a lot of free resources in the group, so it's always great to jump on these lives, even if you're just checking out the replay, because there's so much valuable information that I share with you guys in here. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thanks so much for being here live, and I will see you guys back in the group. Bye!